Hey everyone, it's Shirley, and today I'm doing the 8 art styles challenge. I technically plan on doing 16 art styles total because I want a square number, but I completely underestimated how much time and energy the challenge would take, so I'm splitting it into 2 videos so I can take a break in the middle before drawing the other 8. Be on the lookout for part 2, I'm planning on uploading it in about 2 weeks. Now let's get into the video. So first off, we're starting with my art style. It's pretty natural for me to draw like this, and I enjoyed it because I've spent so much time on animation and projects with not as much detail and shading that I really got to take my time with this and make it look nice. This character is part of a project I'm working on with Flynn from Flying Stars Animates.
Hello, Feathers. Oh, wait, no, this is the wrong channel. In that case... Bye!
These characters are OCs from an alternate version of the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. We're looking forward to sharing more about the project and for you to get to know everyone better. I'm planning on making more videos with these characters, including an animatic that will be up next week, so stick around if you want to learn more about them and their adventures. Also, check out Flynn's channels, their videos are super cool and these characters are just as much theirs as they are mine. We've been collaborating on this whole project and they're such a great person. But yeah, this is my drawing style and how I like to draw her. It came pretty naturally to me, and I enjoyed adding in the highlights at the end. Now let's get into how she looks in 7 other art styles. First up is the style from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Since we're making a project that takes place in this universe, I thought it would be cool to draw her in the style of the show. I used Katara, Suki, Opal, Azula, and Yue, I think, for references. And you can kind of see that in the way I drew the eyes and the face shape. The shading was pretty straightforward, and I had a lot of fun trying to imagine how she would look in the actual, Avatar universe in the show. And it was pretty fun doing hard shading since I usually do soft shading as you saw in the previous drawing. I think my favorite part, as is with most of the styles, was drawing the eyes. I just love adding in the shading for the eyes, it's so much fun. But yeah, this is how I drew her in the Avatar style. And next up, the fastest one to do, I drew her as a Powerpuff Girl just because I could. I used the circle tool a lot to help me through this, and it was really straightforward. It was actually fun how easy it was, and I think she looks really cute and bubbly, and I love how the colors turned out. Then I drew her as a Violet Evergarden character. I watched the show pretty recently, and it was so good. I especially love the art style, so I thought it would be fun to recreate it. I was very much looking forward to going all out with the eye shading, but I completely underestimated how hard it would be to recreate. I usually draw with really thick lines, whereas Violet Evergarden has very, very thin line art, so it took me a while to just get the line art done. The hair was also a bit tricky because on the show most characters have straight or wavy hair, so I had to try to improvise that thin, strandy style into curly hair. I had so much fun on the eyes for this one though, you can kind of tell that I put so much effort into the shading of the eyes. The eyes are just always my favorite part of drawing, if you can't tell. Next up, I drew her as a Let Me Explain Studios character. Rebecca Parham has such a fun and expressive art style that I really enjoyed recreating. Also, I will admit I'm lazy, so I was more than happy to not have to draw a mouth for this sketch. The colors she uses are always so bright and bubbly, so I had fun recreating that, as well as adding in the little side highlights. I think those were my favorite parts of this drawing. Then I drew her in the style of Solsticle. They are an artist whose work I've seen on Instagram, and I absolutely adore the way they draw faces and anatomy and shading. They make a lot of posts about their OCs, such as their character Indigo. I love the roundness and dimensionality their art has, and I've referenced the way they draw different OCs to determine how to draw this character. Mainly their OC, I think her name is Darla? I will say I struggled a lot with this one. As you can see on the timestamp, it took me the longest out of all of these drawings to make. I think part of it is because I made the line art too thin, and another part is I completely underestimated how much thought they put into their shading. Like, their art looks so effortless, but it took me a while to figure out how to get the shading to match closer to their style. I had a lot of fun doing the earrings and the arm braces, because they have this really cool way of shading jewelry where it's like super shiny. So I went all out with that and I love how it turned out. I also struggled on the cape, so I pulled up a trusty reference of them drawing one of their OCs as a ghost, and I was able to get a better insight into how they shade things. I don't think I exactly recreated it, but I still like how it turned out. And the hair was so much fun, I loved giving it this like fluffy texture to it. Afterward, I drew this character as a Disney princess. I grew up on Disney princess movies, and they inspired my art a lot as a kid. For this drawing, I found myself looking for common things the princesses have, such as the way their face shapes curve near their eyes, or the way their mouths are drawn. I like how it looks like she's about to burst into song. I don't know if I 100% captured the character's personality in this sketch, but I still think it was a cool style to try to draw in. For the eyes and hair, you can kind of see like which princess's features I kind of took and adapted into this one. For the earrings and arm braces, I used Princess Jasmine's jewelry as a reference. Then, I tried recreating the art style of Thumin. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Thumin is an artist and YouTuber who makes really cool art commentary videos. I love how cute her art style is, and the way she uses colors, so I really wanted to include an attempt at this for this video. I enjoyed using a lot of cool colors for this one since the rest were pretty warm, as well as figuring out how to color the line art since she has a very particular way of doing it. I really like how cute this one turned out. It makes me very happy to look at. So that's everything for part 1, the first 8 sketches out of 16. I'm going to take a little break from drawing her so I don't get burnt out, but be on the lookout for part 2. What made this challenge fun was I had to try to figure out how to capture the character's personality in styles outside of what's in my comfort zone. So I'm looking forward to making part 2 of this video so I can see what happens next, and see how else I can express her personality in other people's art styles. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!